Cope Queens, episode 14. In this episode, we share several of our pet peeves, and we also discuss what we believe could be the root cause of why these things annoy us. You're listening to the Cope Queens podcast, where every Wednesday, co-hosts Elaina Jones and Tracy Hampton challenges mental health stigmas through sharing personal experiences, storytelling, interviews, and roundtable discussions about everyday life challenges. This podcast in no way is a replacement for mental health treatment. To learn more, please visit copequeens.com. Now, without further ado, let's cope together. Tracy, do you have any pet peeves?
I do. The first thing that comes to mind for me, and I'm going to sound like such a prude, I'm so big on manners. It really annoys me. One example, I was working from home. I'm back on the train now, which is taking a lot of patience from me. I have a real big problem with if I'm standing on the platform and you're running late, you're not just going to rush up when the train come and elbow bump me and jump in front of me. I have a problem with men who hop in front of women to get on the train, men who don't hold the door open, kids who don't speak when they enter a room, please and thank you. My list will go on and on and on, Elaina, but I'm just so big. It
Thought
is.
I was talking to Tracy, that Peaches.
This Peaches after she went to etiquette class. But it's I'm really big on manners, and I've raised my kids that way. My kids are really mannerable. I'm pretty sure they got other issues, but I do try to teach them, please, thank you, just social etiquette, because I feel like it's something that's lost in society today, and people just don't have it, and it's just so annoying.
So have you ever wondered why it was a pet peeve for you? I have my own list of pet peeves, but today I was just kind of thinking, why does that bother me?
Yeah.
For a lot of us, the pet peeve stems from some type of negative experience that we've had in the past that's now stored in our amygdala. And so when those situations come up, we're triggered.
Yeah. You know what? With the manners thing, I don't know. I know one thing that comes to mind when it comes to the men not holding the door open, and because I'll stand there until the man opens the door. I know it's silly, but I'll do it to kind of force manners on people. But I kind of feel like with women, that whole us being precious and us being adored, I think that's been lost. So when it happens, it just kind of annoys me. Do you not see I'm a woman standing here?
It was lost when we decided to burn our damn bras and demand for equality. What are you talking about, woman?
No. And I think you can still be a feminist, but still want, because I call myself feminist and I support feminism to the fullest, but I still want the door held open for me. I still want men to do those things, because it's like, I can bear kids, you can't. I could do something that you cannot do, and I deserve to. Is it revered or revered? What is that?
Revered.
Yeah. Revered for that. Thank you. I had my cocktail tonight. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I should have waited.
I got drunk Peaches. Oh gosh, please let us get through this. So are you saying you want the chivalry from the men in your life, like your son, your husband, or you just expect it from every man on the planet?
Every man. I just
need a clarification.
Yes, every man. I'm sorry. I just feel like that's the way it should. I know if I want to, I could change my own tire. I could do a lot of stuff. I was single for pretty much all of my adult life, but I just really just love to see that, and I expect it, and when I don't get it, it's disappointing. And I will side-eye, I'll get on the train and side-eye a guy the whole ride, I can't believe you just pushed and got in front of me.
I mean, making physical contact is one thing, but so let me ask you a question. If you and we're not friends, we don't know each other, we're walked in a building together and I'm in front of you, would you have that same reaction if I let the door close behind me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. even with you being a woman, because that's rude. Because it's something with the manners. Even when I'm rushing, I try to make sure you too far away that I get it. But I think that's what's kind of lost in society today, just that human kindness, considering other people. And I think with it seeming to go by the wayside, that it's pretty much made us to the point where people just think about themselves, and that's
Yeah.
not a good place to be. And it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like you, I have a laundry list of pet peeves. But one that I experienced today that really gets under my skin. And I drove all the way to work trying to figure out why does that bother me so much. So think about school drop-offs. So when you're dropping your kid off at school, they have this little circle that you kind of pull around and you let the kids out and you go on about your business.
Right.
But parents, for some reason, feel like their kid, like they're going to roll out the red carpet every morning when they drop them off at school, and they have to be positioned right at the front door. Most parents don't want to pull all the way around for whatever reason. Now, your kid is getting out on the sidewalk. Why can't they walk the extra 10 steps? Because the problem is when you don't pull all the way around, then you have all the traffic in the street.
Yeah.
And that stops traffic. It keeps people from getting into school, people from getting out, and people who have nothing to do with the school to go on about their business. So it just drives me nuts that you couldn't pull up 2 car spaces so we could fit 2 more cars in this area. I started to think about it on my way to work, and I said, well, I don't necessarily think it's about pulling up. When I think about that, it looks at me like, one, you can't follow the rules. And so you're teaching your kid that rules within society and your job, they're flexible. Like, you don't have to abide by them. So I think you're setting a bad example because you're not following the rules. And I think it also comes back to either, for me, I haven't decided, is it a respect thing or is it an entitlement thing? To me, I feel like you think that you're entitled, that you're so special that you don't have to abide by the rules that the rest of us are abiding by.
Yeah.
And it drives me nuts because I am a person that believes in structure and processes. Man, just follow the structure and do what we're supposed to do so we can all get on about our business.
Agree with you on that one.
And yes, some people listening are probably like, well, that's so petty, but everybody has a pet peeve.
Yeah.
Everybody has something that no matter who does it gets on their nerves. So one of my other pet peeves, well, there's 2 more. So when it comes to my house, why have a laundry basket if your laundry gonna end up on the floor? Laundry basket is empty. I don't understand that. The clothes laying next to the laundry basket on the floor. Why did I spend the $5 on the basket if you were just gonna leave it on the floor? Like, I feel like I should just get $5 back because that was a waste of money. Like, somebody run me my money. And the other thing is, like, when you leave a table, clean the table off and push the chair back. So that could be my OCD kicking in. But it's like, I don't understand why when you get up from a table, you can't push a chair in.
Yeah. You like structure. I'm like that too. I like structure. I like to follow the rules, and I like other people to follow the rules because it's chaotic when it doesn't happen. I get it. You're not crazy.
I think my therapist may disagree with you on that, even though she won't say that word. My mom was very diligent about keeping a clean house. Like, I remember when Kaya's father and I were together and we lived in an apartment, he used to get mad because our landlord was a family friend. And I would just leave the rent check for him on the kitchen counter and he would just come by, pick it up, and go on about his business. But the night before he was coming to pick up check, girl, I was in there going through that house with all kind of bleach and every other household clean, because I'm like, this is our landlord. We want him to know that we're taking care of his property. So I made sure I cleaned up. Whereas he interpreted that as, you like him. I mean, he was fine, but that was not the point.
Besides the point.
Like, I still wanted my landlord to pick up a check. You walk in smelling bleach, bruh, because we take care of this. Again, I was just curious to know the things that get under our skin. Even if you think about people where the nails across like a chalkboard or the scraping sounds, like, those don't really bother me as much. Kaya, if we watching TV and we watching something and there's somebody breaking a bone or something cracking like that, she can't stand to hear that, but she will crack her neck in a heartbeat. Like,
that scares me more than anything, just hearing that.
The pet peeves that we have, why do we have them? And so it just makes me go back to, what experience did I have that triggered that for me? The whole feet thing, like, I hate feet. I don't want to see your feet. I don't want don't touch me with your feet. I don't want to see them. Don't touch me with them. I was trying to reflect back to say, where did that come from? And the only thing I can think of whenever I think about feet, I went to school with somebody, and when we had gym class, his feet smelled through his shoes. And it wasn't his shoes, because no matter what pair of shoes he had on, his feet smelled. And I think that whenever I think of feet, I think of that. It's almost like the syrup with the spider thing. Like, it's just another trigger to like
those feet brought back memories. Those have been some strong.
So I keep your feet away from me.
Oh my God.
What other pet peeves do you have besides?
So the other thing that gets under my skin, and I've examined this to see where this comes from. I hate for a person to text me and then continue texting me, or call me and continue to call me, because I kind of feel like if I'm not texting you back, if I'm not calling you back, it's a reason why, and I'm going to call you back. It got to the point where I have one friend where pretty much I have her stuff muted purposely.
Damn.
So I will look at it when I'm ready to, because she'll send me one line text, and these one line texts, it'll end up like 20, 30 text messages, because there's so many, and it's annoying when you're sitting at work or whatever you're doing and have all these texts keep popping up. I was thinking about, why does it bother me so much? Some people are like, oh, I just ignore it, it's not a big deal, but it would really make my skin crawl. And I feel like when a person does that, they're trying to control me, and they're trying to control my time. And when I finally talk to them, it's nothing. I can understand if it's like somebody's dying or something like that, but it's gossip 9 times out of 10. But I feel like they're trying to control me and control my time, and say, what you're doing is not as important as me, that it's selfish. Because I try to, if I text someone, I'll text them. If it's more than one text, it's not like I'm saying, answer me, answer me, answer me. I'll send the text, and then once they get back to me, they'll get back to me. Or if I call them, leave them a message or send them a text, hey, call me whenever you get a chance, so they know that it's important, but I'm done at that point. I just like to be treated the way that I treat other people. And when it doesn't happen, it's annoying, but I have a thing about being controlled. And to me, that's a form of control. I'm really it's a real thing about being controlled. So different forms of control, or people try to have control over me, kind of set me off. And that's just one of them.
Another perspective, when you were saying that, I didn't think about control. I know that's what it represents for you, and you know better because you've probably had past experiences where you had that same feeling. So it's stemming from somewhere.
Yeah.
I looked at it as, even though it's not important to you, maybe she just missed you, wanted your attention. Like,
I'm not that good.
No.
I'm good, but I'm not that good.
She was probably just missing her peachy, like, pay attention to me. No? Okay, well, I tried. Sweetie, if you listening, I tried.
But I do take it, like you said, it stems from somewhere. But I was in a domestic violence relationship, and it wasn't to the point where it was a lot of physical violence, but it was a lot of emotional violence. And one of the ways that came across, he tried to control everything.
Okay.
So I think it kind of triggers that whenever I feel like somebody's trying to exert some kind of control over me, I rebel. I do the total opposite.
Even if your amygdala is bringing that emotion back up for you.
Yeah. It could be something simple. Like I said, other people look at it, well, just ignore it. But to me, it's like, it's like the nails on the chalkboard for me.
And when you have a pet peeve, I think the issue is figuring out, why does that bother you? What was the prior experience that implanted that now when it happens in different situations, no matter who does it, it drives you nuts? It's just really interesting to me, because a lot of us just know that some things annoy us, but we don't take that time to think deeper about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one of my biggest pet peeves that I actually act upon is incompetence, is the word that I'm looking for. But one of my biggest pet peeves is when you are not doing your job at the standard that's acceptable. And it's not necessarily someone that I work with. It's in any situation. If I'm a customer, I expect a certain level of service. So if I go to a restaurant, yes, there are standards in place. I know what your standards are because I manage restaurants. So when it comes to food handling and safety, when it comes to bartending, I know what you're supposed to be doing. When it comes to customer service, I know what you're supposed to be doing. And when you don't deliver it at a decent standard,
Mm-hmm.
I'm annoyed. So give you an example, Amazon. Now I've been an Amazon Prime member forever. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying you extra money so I can get this 2-day shipping. Now I understand once it leaves whatever warehouse or from whichever vendor, there's not a lot of control that they have. The
Right.
problem that I have with Amazon is if I call you because whatever delivery company showed up says that my item is marked delivered and they took a picture of it and it's not my house,
Mm. Oh my God, that's happened to
don't
me.
tell me I need to wait 24 hours before I can complain about it. I'm not going to be going around slow driving through neighborhoods like I am an
Mm-hmm.
African American woman. That's not going to happen, bruh. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. Can't be doing that in the suburb. But the problem is when I call Amazon, they have their scripts. For every company out there, stop making these people use these stupid scripts. I don't want to hear the same
Yeah.
thing every time I contact you.
Yeah. Oh, I hate it.
That's like empathy
Yes.
statements. I'm sorry to hear that. Like, stop. No, you're not. You don't care. Just, I'd rather you
Here's your
not care.
$5. Right.
I'd rather you not be empathetic than to use the script.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
the problem that I have is when I contact you, it's not to complain that my item isn't here. It is for
Mm-hmm.
you to reach out to whatever delivery company it is to discuss with them the fact that you're not only did they deliver to the wrong address, but had the audacity to take a picture of the wrong house. I need them to get that feedback so they can fix it. Like a woman,
Yeah.
I know what happens if I don't do well at work. I'm
Yeah.
not getting paid. So I just want everybody to be held to the same type of accountability no matter what job you have. If you ain't doing your job right, you shouldn't get paid.
Yeah. Now I see why you've banned a certain restaurant chain when we
Oh,
were trying to go
yeah.
out to eat.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
feel you on the customer service. That brought up another pet peeve. Like I really do dislike bad customer service. And
Yeah.
Amazon is on my list too. I've had the conversation with them plenty of times and I'm this on the same boat as you. I just want you to fix it.
Have you ever worked at a company and had a job where you and a counterpart, y'all making the same money and they doing half of work or not doing quality work, but y'all getting paid the same?
Yeah, I've had it where accidentally everyone, this was like early in my career, by mistake, the manager we both reported to accidentally leaked everyone's salaries.
Oh.
And I found out they were making more money than me, and that pissed me off because I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Of
Yeah.
course, it was a man, but it really pissed me off.
Everybody's learning so much about you. Do you hate men, Tracy? No, I'm just playing.
I know. I know. I love men
Everybody listens like, oh,
sometimes.
she one of those.
I might be.
We
Oh
are
my
not
God.
man bashing. although
Not tonight.
my mom would tell you, she was like, they share one brain. So when one does something stupid, that means someone else is doing something smart. Like, you wrong. I
Oh
was
my
like, you can't.
God. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, she was like, that's so wrong. For the men out there that are very intelligent and doing what you are supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to do it, and you're very good at your job, I heart you. You good. We good.
Especially Idris, if you're
Especially
listening.
Idris. Especially Idris. And if you single and got all your teeth, call me.
I know that's your boo. I had to make sure your boo knew we weren't talking about
Yeah.
him.
Well, here's the funny thing. The reason why I was talking about him so much the other day is because when Kai and I were at an appointment and I was sitting in the waiting area, there was another woman in there. And it was so funny to me. Like, she just randomly, this magazine, I think it was the People magazine or one of those magazines where he's on the cover of it. Now, it's been in his office for weeks, so I don't know how old it is. He's staring at me with those eyes every time I go into the office, and I am just basking in it. But in this instance, this woman, she was just like, oh my God, he's so sexy. And I just kind of looked like, who is she talking about? She's looking down at me. She's like, look at his eyes. He's so beautiful. He's just so sick. She's like, I probably shouldn't be saying that. I was like, no, you good. Keep talking. Great content.
Oh my God. I think what's so sexy about him, well, for me, I just love to hear him speak when he has his British accent. I like milk. God, it's something about a British accent.
Yeah, she
It's
brought up his
weird.
accent. She brought that up. But she kept going. I was starting to feel a little uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
I was like, do y'all need some privacy? Because I can go wait outside. I don't need to be in the waiting room. I can.
That is hilarious.
It was like, oh, look, I got a conference call. I'll be back. But no, it was just funny. She was funny, though. I was like, oh, she really do like him. I just sit and admire in silence. Like, hope nobody noticed I've been staring at this magazine across the table for the last 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
But yes, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Idris could get it. I ain't gonna lie. He is definitely not on the pet peeve list, but I'm sure he has something that he would do. Like if he takes his socks off and leave them by the laundry basket, it's over with. It's all out the window at that point. But I know he wouldn't do that.
I'll say, I know you're not giving him up that easy. He may be mad for a couple of minutes. Like, okay, boo. It's okay, boo.
Just don't do it again. Hey, at least if I did that. At least I'm doing that for Idris. Some of y'all doing that for Tom. Tom still living at his mama's basement, and some of y'all. Okay, no, Tom would get his feelings hurt.
You are so silly.
Like, you are not Idris. Don't play with me.
Your bread is not done.
What?
Oh, God.
Did you just say my
It's not. Me and my grandmother used to say that. It's kind of similar to the elevator's not going to the top floor. She's just like, your bread isn't done. So that's my saying for
I don't
folks.
think I've ever heard that before. Girl, you got me over here in tears.
I got plenty of the old Southern sayings.
Let me hear some more.
Come out randomly.
Oh my God, your bread is not done. See,
I forgot we were recording and it came out.
oh God, she said your bread is done. All right, everybody, make sure your bread is done. All right, well, I think we're going to end there since apparently I need to go finish baking my bread.
Baking it.
All right, everybody, we are going to end there. I don't know what we wanted you to learn today, but if you didn't learn anything, hopefully you had a good laugh and we took some of the stress off of your day because you have to laugh at us. I'm okay if you laugh at me in this context, but if we on the street, don't laugh at me. Laugh with me. Even though my bread is not done. Tracy, anything else?
No, bye guys. Until next time.
All right, take care, everybody.
You've reached the end of another episode of the Cope Queens podcast. Thank you for coping with us today, and we hope you'll join us for the next episode. Until then, connect with us on Twitter at Cope Queens.